to Call Me When They Kiss. I'm Sydney.
And I'm Issa, and today is our monthly bonus episode where we discuss a romance book. If you're new around here, every Friday, Sydney and I talk about a romance movie or sometimes a TV series. And once a month, we have a bonus book episode like today. Today, we are talking about Vision in White by Nora Roberts. And our episode that's coming out this Friday, we are talking about Warm Bodies, which was a change up. We were going to talk about Love Story, that Hulu series about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, but we decided to push that one out a week because, frankly, we just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
We have
And we could
is
have,
it
like,
8
we talked.
episodes?
There's actually 9.
Oh, 9 episodes.
So I thought it was 8. So I was like, okay, I just have 7 hours. Which, for some reason, adding just 1 more hour really pushed me over the edge. I was like, I can't do this.
Also, I mean, I'm probably going to say this again on Friday, but if you're wondering why the heck we're watching Warm Bodies, like, it kind of feels out of place, I feel like, in April, and just, I don't know. It's kind of 2 reasons. Number 1, apparently it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I am currently doing my social media series where I watch different versions of Romeo and Juliet. And then the second reason is, I got to go kind of roundabout here, just bear with me. So our book for April, our next book of the month, is Abby Jimenez's new book, The Night We Met, okay? And the narrator for the audiobook is Teresa Palmer, right? That's her name. And she is the actress from Warm Bodies. And apparently this was a huge deal for Abby Jimenez to get Teresa Palmer because Warm Bodies is her favorite rom-com of all time.
This really shook me and Issa.
Yes.
We were like, Warm Bodies?
Yes.
We were trying to think of, like, an 80s classic, a 90s classic. It was not on our radar at all.
I don't even know if it would be on my radar as a rom-com.
Well, yeah, because when I was making the post on yesterday about our upcoming movies, I list the genre, so I went and looked because I just wanted to make sure. I mean, she called it a rom-com, but I was like, is it a rom-com? And it actually lists the category as horror romance.
Yeah.
But when you look at a longer list, yes, like, it does also include comedy. But then it actually kind of had me, like, worried, like, when it did put horror as the number 1, like, the first genre, I was like, is this gonna be scarier than I'm expecting?
Have you never seen it before?
No, I saw, well, and that's the thing, like, I did see it when it was in theaters, and, I mean, granted, it was a while ago now, so I don't know if I'm just not remembering it fully, but I feel like if it were really scary, I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
I do know that it is a little bit silly too, so, like, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know if anything with zombies is just considered horror because it's, like, zombies. They're eating brains.
I've never seen it before. I'm in the middle of it. I started watching it earlier today, and it's not scary, but, like, and I don't want to get ahead of myself because, like, literally our whole episode's going to be about it, but, like, I'm raising my eyebrows at Abby Jimenez. Like, it's kind of weird.
Like, your favorite of all time.
Yeah, and I don't really like zombie movies.
Yeah.
It's still a zombie movie, you know?
It's just hard for me. This is gonna make me sound,
I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's, like, definitely kind of gross.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, continue.
I actually watched, like, a little bit of The Walking Dead when that first came out and was really big, and I'm not kidding. That was, like, my turning point. Like, when you're like, "Oh, wow, you really can't handle a lot of gore." It's because of The Walking Dead. Like, I watched some things before that, but something about that show and what it showed us, like, ever since then, I haven't been able to stomach anything at all.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember what I was saying about Warm Bodies. But I wonder if Abby Jimenez, like, was saying that as a marketing ploy? Like, is this genuinely your favorite rom-com, or were you just trying to, like, hype up this narrator and, like, get people excited about, like, I don't know. But also, the more I see about her, and I love Abby Jimenez, but she seems a little
Quirky.
quirky. Like, yeah, like, maybe this is your favorite. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I don't have any I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but, like, it's hard for me to, like, watch a romance and be rooting for, like, a gross-looking zombie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I need to feel a little bit of attraction towards the leading
Well,
person.
and, like, because it is, like, a romance, he's not as zombie looking as most zombie
Yeah.
movies portray zombies. There's, like, some scarier zombies. Well, okay, we'll get into it next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
He's no Edward
yeah,
Cullen
no.
of, like, some creepy creature that could be beautiful. He's just yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but while we're on the topic, so like I said, April's book is going to be The Night We Met, and I started that already too. Okay, and you guys have to understand,
I'm
like,
already laughing because I know what you're gonna say.
yeah, I texted Sydney about this. I like Abby Jimenez. Like, she's probably my second favorite romance author after Emily Henry. I really, really like Part of Your World. That's my favorite book by her. And I think that that whole trilogy is good. But, like, okay, so last year was it just last year? She
Mhm.
released no, let me back up. Sorry, I know I keep interrupting myself. If you guys don't know anything about Abby Jimenez, so she writes like contemporary romance, but her books are we've mentioned this on the podcast before. They're almost kind of soap opera-y. I think you compared them to like Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
I think
really
people
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say that, like, a lot of time when we talk about contemporary romances nowadays, they're kind of all put into this category of, like, they're like rom-coms,
Uh-huh.
and hers do have some humor, but they lean way more into, like, the drama than, like, the comedy side of
Yeah.
what people view as, like, contemporary romance.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of trauma, a lot of, like, her characters are always going through something really, really intense, okay? And, like, in, like, the Part of Your World trilogy, I found it to be entertaining. I was like, "Wow, yeah, like, this is kinda juicy." Last year, she released a short story that I listened to. It was literally only, like, an hour or 2 long, and the girl had, like, a stalker. And that was the first one where I was like, "Okay, this is kind of getting to be too much." And so then I started listening to The Night We Met, and I'm still excited to read it. Like, she's an auto-buy author for me. I'm always gonna, like, read her books. But, like, it started out with this list of trigger warnings, and I was like, "This is just ridiculous." I think it's just interesting because she, like, puts these, like, really intense situations in the context of, like, a somewhat lighthearted
Yeah.
love story, and so, I don't know, it's just this funny juxtaposition, and you just
It's
open
got
up
some
and Abby
cutesy
Yeah,
cover with these
yeah,
cartoon characters, yeah, and then it's like,
yeah,
"Death." It's
yeah,
like,
and
"Oh."
you, like, open up an Abby Jimenez book, and you're like, "Alright, let's see what these folks are going through."
Yeah. No,
What
that's
crazy
true.
shit she's putting these guys through.
And the last one did have quite a few twists and turns. Like, some people were like, "Do you hate these characters?"
Yeah.
Because they were going through it. But,
No, yeah.
yeah, but I'm excited.
Okay, but yeah, let's talk about Project Hail Mary. You didn't even tell me you went to it, did you?
No, it was kinda spontaneous, to be honest. I'd say that I'm nerdier than Alan is,
Mhm.
and so I kinda had to, like, sell him on it a little bit because he hears sci-fi and he thinks Star Wars, and he doesn't like is Star Wars even I guess
Yeah. I would say it's
because it's in
sci-fi.
space? Because there's not a lot of science to it, and so I started, like yeah, second
Oh, I
guessing it.
see what you're saying.
But, because this one, it was, like, heavy science, you know?
Mhm.
There were some parts of the movie that I definitely was like, "Huh?" I needed subtitles. I really
Oh,
rely on
yeah.
subtitles. Um, but he did enjoy it, and, I did too. But, I just wasn't people are okay, actually, somebody, like, tweeted, "If you like Rocky in Project Hail Mary, then you should read The Night and the Moth." And I'm like, "You cannot compare" Like,
What
you're
the hell?
comparing Rocky to the gargoyle in The Night and the Moth?
What
Like,
in the world? That is so
absolutely
silly.
not. Those are not the same characters at all. But this is what I was texting Issa about this, and there's been sort of this, like, petification of Rocky, where people are like, "Oh, he's so cute. Oh, it's
Uh-huh.
Rocky. He's so cute." And, like, that's not really who he is. But I think, like, people talking about him that way, like, shifted my perspective of when I was watching it. Like, it was harder for me to feel, like, emotionally connected to Rocky, but
Yeah, in the book, well, so I did listen to the book. I finished it the day before I went to the movie, and like, it's a little bit easier in the book to recognize Rocky as like he's really smart and he's
Mhm.
an adult. He's
Yeah.
just an alien and he's like an engineer, and him and Grace, they like work together and they take turns saving each other and they take turns figuring things out. Which I mean, that is in the movie to an extent, but yeah, I think the movie, and he was cute in the movie.
Yeah.
But like it's harder to reconcile that like he is a highly intelligent being and not a pet.
Yeah. And I think that, like, the computer, like, language and, like, that barrier wasn't helping see like, I think people were treating him like an infant because he was talking in, like, baby talk. Like, if these, like, "Rocky, save Grace." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was just because they didn't know each other's language.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't because he was
exactly.
a baby.
Yeah, he knew more
Yeah.
words. Grace didn't know, like, enough of the words to translate or whatever. I
Yeah.
do think that the translating system, like, I was a little bit hung up on that, and I knew it wasn't that big of a deal, and I should have just moved on. But, like, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way that you just" like, you can't hold up an option, like, I don't know. I just felt like it was really simplified to be like, "What do you call this?" And then
Yeah.
he just, like, makes a noise. I'm like, how has he seen like, even the clock, I'm like, "But his clock looks different. How
Yeah.
does he have any idea what you're holding up right now?"
No, I was confused when Ryland Grace, when he showed him the Earth clock and then Rocky like knew and went and got his own
Yeah.
version of a clock. And I remember that happens in the book and like it's explained way more in the book, but I can't really remember. Oh, I know what it was. It's because he can hear the ticking of the clock,
Oh,
and so then he knows that he has a device that is like ticking
ticks the
time.
same way.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
their length of a second isn't the exact same as ours, but like he's like, "Oh, we have a device like that too." I That's what it is.
Yeah, see, part of me is, like, intrigued and, like, wants to read the book just to, like, see all those other, like, those smaller kinda pieces, and then the other part of me is like, "Ah, but I saw the movie and I enjoyed it, like, maybe that's good enough."
No, don't. I liked the movie better than the book.
Yeah.
Like the book is very sciency.
Mhm.
Like if you thought the movie was sciency, the book is 10 times more sciency. Like it's very much about the process of science, and like in the movie they really gloss over them like solving problems and figuring things out. I haven't heard so many like formulas since my high school chemistry class or physics class. Like it was a lot of numbers.
Yeah. Okay, I'll skip it.
Yeah, you don't need to read it.
Science has always been my weak subject anyways.
It was a good adaptation. Like I feel like it was definitely book accurate enough that yeah. But yeah,
Ye
it's just like way less boring with Ryan Gosling and epic music playing in the background compared to the book.
and it was really pretty, and, like, I was telling you about this as well when we were texting about it, but, they didn't use, like, any green screens at all, and in a world where, like, so many movies, especially, like, Marvel movies, for example, nowadays, are just filmed, like, in a room with a
Mhm.
green screen, and, so, like, the scene where, he's got all these, like, red flickering lights, and he's, like, supposed to be in the middle. It's too much to explain if you haven't seen the movie. But, like, a lot of people assumed that, so many, even, like, him standing in front of the planet or whatever, like, all of this was, like, green screen. But they actually, like, did it all with, like, special camera filters and,
Oh, that's cool.
like, they had I think he said something about, like, chicken wire with, like, flickering lights in it, like, they he said
Oh,
that, like,
that's
when
cool.
you looked at it, like, you'd had no idea, like, how cool it was gonna look, but, like, because of the camera and the settings and
Mhm.
filters that were on it and all this stuff, like, yeah, so I think that's really cool, and a fun fact is people were surprised that these 2 guys that directed the movie, that this was, like, the first really big movie that they did and that it was, like, such a success, and they were like, "Oh, what do you mean this is the first movie he did? They've also done Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs," and everyone was, like, laughing about that it was, like, the same directors, but then I looked it up, and they're also the directors of 21 and 22 Jump Street, which
Oh,
I
really?
love those movies, but, like, this is, like, such a different
Yeah.
movie, of course, but this did still have, I mean, it had several scenes that, like, made me laugh and that, like, I did feel, like, emotional in certain parts, and I think it was a good time.
Yeah, I liked
But
it.
Ryan Gosling does, like, I just really like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I really liked him in it, and it didn't like, when I see a movie is 2.5 hours long, I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go," but
yeah.
it didn't feel 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. So what else, you said you had some
Well,
movies that have been on your radar?
yeah, I wanted to talk to you because I'm going to a couple more movies in the near future, and I need to know if you're going to them as well so that we can talk about them. Okay, the first one is Forbidden Fruits. It has Lily Reinhart and Lola Tongue in it.
Mhm.
It's like a comedy horror girly movie. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Have you heard of it?
Mhm. Yeah. People
But
were
I
saying
think
it's like Mean Girls meets Practical Magic and some other horror whatever.
yeah, but it's only in the theaters for a couple days, so I'm going to that one
Oh.
tomorrow. And then I'm also, I think this coming weekend, I'm gonna go to the drama with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya.
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna see either of those?
Forbidden Fruits, you watch it first and let me know,
Okay.
because I did see somebody review it and said something about it, like, getting gory, and
Yeah.
so, like, I'm a little bit scared, but you tell me.
Okay.
And the drama I do want to see, but I think I already had the big, like, secret
Oh,
spoiled.
really? Don't tell me.
I won't tell you. I actually wanted to, like, text you about it, but then I was like, "No, if she's gonna watch it." Yeah, so I won't say
How'd you get
anything,
it spoiled?
but
The internet?
somebody like it was like some sort of like mainstream magazine that posted about it saying that like, oh, somebody was triggered by it, blah 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 blah. And everybody in the comments were like, hello, this is like a major spoiler alert. And so
Hmm.
people were kind of upset about it. But yeah, I was just like scrolling on Facebook. That's what I get for wasting my time scrolling Facebook. Who scrolls Facebook anymore?
So wait, you're not gonna go to it anymore?
No, I'm gonna see the drama, but probably
Okay.
not. Well, if you tell me Forbidden Fruit's not too bad, I'll watch it. 'Cause I am intrigued by it, and that's what, like, I hate is when, like, movies come out like that with, like, casts of people I like, and I'm, like, excited about it, but I know that, like, I can't stomach it, so you'll let me
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm glad you're at least going to the drama. Also, I wanted to ask you, did you ever watch Jury Duty?
I did. I haven't
Are you
watched the new one,
watching
though.
Okay, yeah, Ryan and I started watching it. I don't think it's as funny as season 1, but it's still you should watch it if you liked Jury Duty.
Jury Duty was so good, and I still have to
Yeah.
convince Alan to watch it. He's like, "No, no, no." And I'm
Oh,
like,
he didn't
"Bro, it's
watch
so
the first
good."
season?
Yeah,
Okay, well, yeah, you
I
guys
liked
need
it.
he should catch up, watch Jury Duty, and then you guys should start Company Retreat because nobody I know is watching it, but it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, this also reminds me, but we can stop. I'm like, this is a lot of movie news for a book episode, I guess. But we'll talk about our thoughts on the 13 going on 30 reboot
Yeah.
on
Friday's
our
episode?
Friday episode because I do
Okay.
have some thoughts about that. But that's like a whole nother conversation. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
if you want to hear that, come to our next episode. Well, actually,
Okay, good
our next
call.
episode. Okay.
All right. Is there anything else before we get into Nora Roberts? Oh, we didn't talk about Secret Lives. We can talk about
Uh,
that in Friday's episode.
yeah, we'll probably get more listeners on Friday anyways. Also,
Okay.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, these women are doing something insane literally every day of the week. So probably by the time we record that episode, there's going to be a whole new batch of things to talk about.
Yeah.
So,
Also, okay, yeah, I'll save my thoughts for Friday's episode.
okay.
All right. Nora Roberts, everybody. I know we've mentioned this, in the weeks leading up to this episode, but if you don't know who Nora Roberts is, she is a prolific romance writer. She has published, do you know how many books she's published, Sydney? Do you remember?
Well, I think I said something about like 150 plus, but that was just under one name.
No, okay, so it's over 250.
Okay.
I was trying to find an exact. Did we talk about this? Like, I feel like that should be an easily
Yeah.
Googleable answer, but like everything just said over 250.
It's like, don't you have
Um,
record of every single book?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So should we start with some Nora Roberts history, or do you want to get into the book and then go back to Nora Roberts? What do you think?
I'm looking, sorry, I was like, okay, so is she like the girl romance version of James Patterson? She might be, because his say more than 200. So, I think that you should share about her impact and legacy and everything she's done and everything like that first.
Okay. So, yes, she's published over 250 books. She's published a large chunk of those under the pseudonym J.D. Robb, and those books are more. She has a lot of strictly romance books, but under J.D. Robb, she's published more like a little bit of sci fi, a little bit of police procedurals, and like crime romance. What was she calling it? Suspense romance.
Yeah.
Her In Death series, I've posted a couple videos on our social media pages about Nora Roberts, and everybody always mentions her In Death series. And I didn't realize, like, that series is over 60 books long, and she typically puts out 2 books per year just for that series.
Holy cow.
So, and she typically puts out about 4 books a year. And I found out that that's one, besides just like the branding thing and like separating her like strictly romance books from her other more suspense romance books, another reason why she started using a pseudonym is because she was writing too many books for like her publishing house to publish. I didn't know that there was like, I don't really know how all that works. Like, why would, in my mind, I'm like, well, why would you limit how many books per year an author
Yeah.
can put out? But for some reason, that like made a difference, like publishing some
Interesting.
under a different name. She published her first book in 1980. She's 75 years old. And
Wait, is she
she,
still like releasing books?
yeah, I think so. Checked her. She just published a romantasy based on her
Oh.
Instagram. That's what it looks like. It has like dragons in it. It's called The Becoming. But yeah, so she first started submitting manuscripts to Harlequin, and they kept rejecting her. I'm going to come back to that in a minute because I have a funny story about Harley Quinn and another romance author related to Nora Roberts. So then in 1980, Silhouette Books was like a new publishing house that started to pick up all these manuscripts that Harley Quinn was rejecting. So Nora Roberts published her first book under Silhouette Books. But going back to Harley Quinn, so Janet Daly is another like really famous romance author from around obviously Nora Roberts is still publishing books today. I think Janet
Yeah.
Daly died a couple years ago. One of the rejection letters that Nora Roberts got from Harley Quinn, they were like, well, your manuscript shows promise, but we already have an American author, Janet, and they were talking about Janet Daly. But then in the 90s, Janet Daly got in like a ton of trouble for plagiarizing
Oh
some
my
of Nora
gosh.
Roberts' books.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a
How do
funny
people like
full circle moment.
it just like shocks me that like big people would just like plagiarize a book. Like, you really think you're getting away with this? It's just
I wonder if because it was in the 90s, like, when the internet was, like well, when did the internet when did they drop the internet? In the 90s?
I mean,
Wasn't it, like, in the
yeah,
90s?
like, yeah, there was internet, but, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't common for, like, every person to
Yeah,
have a computer in their house,
right.
you know? Yeah.
So maybe she, like, thought she could get away with it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's true.
So that was kind of interesting. And then the last thing before we can get into the book sorry, I feel like I'm just, like, ranting at you.
No, it's all very interesting, though.
Good, okay. So Nora Roberts, she's not a founder, but she is a founding member of the Romance Writers of America, which I don't know if this is still true today because they've been embroiled in a lot of like drama and controversy.
Like that
For
group?
yes, which I'll
Okay.
get into. But for a time, the Romance Writers of America was like the biggest organization of any like authors of a specific genre, which makes sense because like romance is like the number one selling genre, right? And that's been
Yeah.
true for like a long time. And Nora Roberts was the first author to be inducted into the Romance Writers of America Hall of Fame. But this organization has had so much drama and so much like infighting because they like keep fighting over like the definition of a romance book and like it's not a very diverse group, like it's mostly made
Yeah.
up of like white heterosexual women, and so they're like always getting in trouble for like being like exclusive
Mm.
and like getting like they sent out like a survey to their members and asked them in the survey if people thought like they should allow queer love stories to be included under the definition of a romance book. And people were so mad about that question was like even included.
Yeah.
And Nora Roberts actually wrote a letter to whoever was in charge, like the president or whatever. Like she spoke out about it. And I think she has like since then left the group. Like she's not even a
Oh,
part of
wow.
the organization anymore.
Yeah, like, that didn't need to be a vote. You can make that choice.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what do you think, guys? Should we discriminate or no? What do you
Yeah.
think?
And they've also argued about, and we've even said this on the podcast, like the official definition of like a
Oh,
romance
yeah.
book is that it has to have a happy ending. And they're always like arguing about that too, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, now I'm just picturing, like, a bunch of older white women, like, fighting
No,
about all
exactly.
these
I
things.
I think that is what it is. And I found an interesting interview by Nora Roberts. This will be like the last thing I think that I have to say. Okay, so the journalist asked her she was asking her about romance as a genre. It has evolved a lot in the last couple of years. Where do you see yourself in the pantheon of that genre? And Roberts said, I don't at all. My roots are
Hmm.
in romance and I have a lot of respect, but I don't write romance anymore. I do write relationships. I've been writing for a really long time now, and the romance genre evolves and it changes. And it did when I was working in it, and it just got to a point where I didn't want to go where it was evolving. I wanted to go in a different direction. So my roots and foundation are there and gratitude, but that's not what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
And they said, how do you describe what you're doing now? And she said, I write novels. It's that simple. Suspense, thrillers, fantasy. So what do you think where do you think the romance genre is evolving that she like disapproves of?
How recent was that?
This was 2025.
Well, okay. Okay, well, maybe that's a good segue into this book. I was actually just pondering this. I was pondering, like, my feelings about this book, the genre as a whole, and I guess it's kinda hard to have this conversation without talking about how I feel about this book, but I feel like that's getting
Well,
ahead
that's
of this
fine.
conversation.
We can get into it.
Honestly, like, I didn't really have very strong feelings one way or another. I didn't really feel anything the whole time, and that's not bad because there's books I read that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I hate this," or like,
Yeah.
"This is so cringy, this is so lame, this is just terrible," whatever, like, I just kind of felt, like, indifferent the whole time, but I wrote in my notes, well, because I was on the go, it's really short. I, like, went to read my note thinking that it was, like, this in-depth thought. And then I read it and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually way more vague than I thought." But I put, like, I understand the appeal. It's sweet
Yeah.
and it's wholesome and it's green flag, but also it's spicy.
Mhm.
And so, like, I could understand why, because Issa posted two videos now about Nora Roberts, and each time she's got like a loyal fan base that
Mhm.
likes it so much that they're actually commenting and engaging with our videos
Yeah.
in a way that like a lot of other people don't. Even if we post about Abby Jimenez or Emily Henry or Sarah J. Maas.
Well, like,
Sorry.
even when we read that Tessa Dare book, like, it's not like
Mhm.
any Tessa Dare people like commented on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So she does have a strong fan base. And so I kept thinking about this and like how I wanted to talk about it. Cause like of course I don't want to offend anyone by being like, well, I didn't love it, because
Mhm.
people do really love it. But I understand what they like about it. When I was reflecting on it and comparing it to some of the other romance books, because I've read a lot of duds in the past 12 months that I have not enjoyed, it's because they're not so much about relationships. They are about sex, which again, like, this is a very like tiptoe conversation of like, I don't want to offend Nora Roberts fans. I don't want to offend fans of just like, really smutty books or anything like that. I think there's books out there for everyone. But personally, what I, if this is what she meant by that quote, like I've been saying lately, I love love stories, not
Mhm.
romance. Because now when I say the romance genre, that is smut. Romance
Mhm.
and smut have become sort of synonymous with each other, you know?
Mhm.
And so now I feel like I have to clarify that when I say, "Oh, I love romance," they think, "Oh, you love books full of sex." And it's like, "Well, I don't mind them." Like, but the ones that I love are like love
Yeah.
stories and stories about relationships. And yes, they have some sex in them, but like that's not the story, and that's not what like I love about these books, you know? So
Mhm.
if that's what she meant, or like that's just what came to my mind when you're like, well, what do you think she's saying, and like what does she not identify with as with the genre anymore? Like that's kind of maybe what comes to my mind, is that just with the context of reading this book, I guess I don't know any other book that she wrote, but like this does feel like she wants to have like they have good friendships and
Yeah.
this sweet couple, and I don't know. It could be that, maybe. What
That
were
I
your
actually
thoughts on
hadn't
it?
really thought about that. I didn't know if she just meant like she'd rather write suspense, sci-fi, fantasy.
Well,
You
I
know what I
guess I'm
mean?
like
Like,
yeah, I guess I'd be interested to know if those books have romance in them, because like I guess yeah, I got hooked up on the first part of like when she said like I don't write romance but I write relationships, and like I don't know if how much that goes into play into those
I think that
books.
her In Death series, maybe I should Google it before I like say this, but when I was in that interview, I was like getting some context clues about it. Yeah. Eve Dallas follows New York City homicide detective Eve Dallas as she solves murders in a mid 21st century setting, so it's a little bit in the future, often with her husband, the
Hmm.
billionaire Rourke, by her side. Well, and she said in that same interview that, like, so she's publishing these in depth books, which are like about murders, under a pseudonym that is more
Gender
ambiguous,
neutral.
if yeah, a gender
Yeah.
neutral name. But she said in that interview that I was reading from, like, something about them having crazy sex, like they solve murders and have crazy sex.
Yeah.
So, like, I think she's still including sex in her books.
Yeah. But it could be, I guess, the angle of like, oh, I don't write women's fiction, I just write fiction. Like I
Yeah.
just tell
No,
these
that's
stories, and like relationships are a part of them, but like yeah.
yeah. No, okay, you're seeing it.
Maybe I was like reading into it way too
No,
much.
I think I like your perspective more because I was trying to figure out if she was like, I don't
Dissing
write
it.
romance. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, like when you very first read it, like that, I did think like, oh, like does she think she's like too cool? Like,
Yeah.
it was like kind of giving me the people that like get famous from a Disney Channel show and then they
Right.
never want to bring that up, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I'm above that now." But
Yeah.
but because of the first part of what she said, it kind of led me down a different route. But But I don't know, I mean, I guess if in her other books they're having crazy sex, then, like but, like, it sounds like there's more to the story if they're solving
Right.
crimes and things like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like, it's not just like, my stories have nothing but sex in them.
Yeah.
So which again, if that's what you like to read, we're not dissing you, all are welcome. It's just not my cup of tea
Yeah.
when that's all it
Alright.
is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Vision and White, I don't even feel like you really need a plot synopsis. Basically, or not a very in-depth one at least.
Yeah.
So it's about Mackenzie. They call her Mac, and she is the wedding photographer as part of this wedding planning business that she does with three of her friends. So there, it's four girls. They've been friends since they were little kids. And Mac's the photographer. One of them's a florist. One's a baker, and one's like the planner organizer. And this is a 4-book series. Like the books are interconnected, and each book follows a different girl and like her journey to love, basically. So this first one's about Mackenzie, and she reconnects with Carter because Carter, they went to high school together, and now Carter's sister is getting married, and their wedding planning business is organizing her wedding. Their business is called Vow. For some reason, that name bugged me. I didn't really like that.
As a business name.
But yeah, so she reconnects with Carter, and he like had a crush on her when they were in high school, but he was just so nerdy, you know? And he's still nerdy. Now he's an English teacher at their high school that they went to. How did you feel? Because most of the books that we read, you know, that the MMC is edgy, dark, mysterious, bad boy. How did you feel about this nerdy MMC?
And I think that this is why I kind of didn't have super strong feelings when I was reading this, is because I didn't it's hard. I mean, we've talked about this in other book episodes or even movies, but especially in books that people have been kind of like afraid to give their characters flaws. And I don't think that was her intentions with this. Like, I don't think that she was like, oh, if I give him flaws, people won't like him. I think she just really genuinely wanted to write this like sweet, nerdy guy. And
Mm-hmm.
given Mackenzie's like history and like her mom is in and out of relationships, super flighty, always demanding stuff from her. Her dad is like not been in the picture. She's just had bad history in her family of like relationships. And so like I see why he was the way he was, even though I'm like, you're kind of coming off as a little too it's not even too perfect because that would imply that like I felt like he was perfect. He was just kind of boring to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I could see why that's what she needed. I felt like he was a good match for her. But we've read nerdy characters before. Like, you could say maybe Charlie from Book Lovers is, I mean, he's an English guy and he's kind of serious. I don't know, guess I wouldn't call him as a
But
nerd. But
yeah, like I
like,
feel like he fits the mold of like what people look for in an MMC in a romance book nowadays.
yeah.
Like he's like kind of grouchy
Yeah, I guess it was more
but
like this
sexy.
guy's, yeah, like, what's his name again? I already forgot.
Carter.
Carter. Like, his behaviors were what came off as nerdy, not his interests. So, like, we read about nerdy guys that are technically nerdy, but they've got so much, like, charisma or sexiness or broodiness or whatever that they don't, like, read as nerdy, even though
Yeah.
they, like, love reading and writing or whatever, you know? And so this guy, though, yeah, he definitely comes off as nerdy with a capital N. Personally, I wouldn't be into him, but I think it's because like she kind of like it was like her internal thought, like she kind of like at the beginning was kind of treating him like you're so cute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that kind of like it was hard for me to like get past that because I think at first it was just like, oh, look this poor nerdy guy that's loved me since high school. I guess
No,
I'll give
that's
him a
actually
chance.
that's actually a good point that he wasn't nerdy because he had nerdy interests. He was just nerdy for the sake of being
Oh,
nerdy.
I'm clumsy. He's kind of like
Yeah.
the female main characters that nobody ever likes in books, when they are "Oh, haha, I'm so silly, I'm so
Yeah.
clumsy. Oh, I've just loved this guy since high school," you know, like, they kinda, like,
Yeah.
flipped it and put it on him, but yeah, it's, like, one too many things of, like, "Oh, I just slip on ice, that's just me," you know?
Well, like, I did think it was a good break because, like, some I am kind of getting a little bit burnt out on, like, the typical MMC that
Yeah.
seems to have the same personality in every book that we read, in contemporary romance and in romantasy. But but then at the same time, it's like, well, that's kinda what works, cause I kinda agree with what you're saying, like, he was nerdy and cute and sweet, but it wasn't even so much him. I think you made a good point. It was more so, like, her perspective of
Yeah.
him that was, like, kind of infantilizing, and it's like,
Yeah. She's like, "Oh,
uh
he kisses really good for a little dweeb."
and of course, even though he's a big fat nerd, he still was really great in bed.
Yeah, she literally says, like, "How are you so clumsy in real life but good in bed?"
Well, and his ex-girlfriend, he has this, like, mysterious ex-girlfriend throughout the book. Again, like, he's a nerd, but somehow he's pulling all these baddies, and his ex-girlfriend dumped him for being boring, but she even makes a point to say in the book, like, "Well, he was boring everywhere except for in bed."
And his other nerdy friend is like, "Oh my gosh, can you believe it, Carter? You've got women fighting over you." It just makes him something about the other characters and how they act around him. Cause yeah, like it really wasn't him. Like he treated her well, he was nice to
Yeah.
her, like all these things, but something about how all the other characters like behave around him and their thoughts towards him like, makes him interesting. 'Cause I'm like, "Is this your only guy friend too? Is this, like,
Bob,
super
his
socially
friend Bob,
awkward dude?"
yeah.
Like, it just yeah, it's hard for me to picture what kind of guy he really is. Does he look like a
Yeah.
dweeb? Or, like,
Well,
is he
that's what I
hot?
was picturing. If you guys follow us on TikTok, I posted this video about how I'm watching Survivor 50, and there's a really nerdy guy on Survivor 50. His name is Christian Hubicki, and that's all I could picture while listening to this book.
Well, it's funny because a couple of, like, the comments on the Issa made a video about this, like, Survivor and this book, and there were several people that commented and was like, "I don't see what the problem is." And Issa sent me a picture, but I was like, "I need to see more of this guy." And I'm like, "I definitely see the problem." So apparently,
Bless his
like,
heart.
there's some really, really sweet girls out there that love really sweet, nice guys,
Not
no
Christian
matter how nerdy they
Hubicki catching
look.
a stray on Call Me When They Kiss. Sorry, Christian Hubicki. I love you as a Survivor player, as good
Okay, well,
reality
I will
TV.
say, like, the pictures of him on Survivor when he's got, like, his beard and his, like, headband, whatever, bandana, he looks a little bit better. The pictures of him in real life, I'm like, "Dang, you're a nerdy looking guy." But no, at the end of the day, he was a nice guy, and I think every woman deserves to be with a nice guy, and I tell everyone, like, I dated, like, the nerdy, quiet, nice guy, and so I'm just being harsh and judgmental because 100%, I see the appeal, and I see why she needed somebody like this. I guess I just would've I'm not a huge fan of, like, the concept I guess I actually haven't read a lot of tropes like this, but, like, the concept that he was already kind of, like, in love with her, like, I wish that I would've seen that happen, like, in front of our eyes more versus, like,
Yeah,
it starts and he's immediately like, "I've always loved you," you know?
yeah. I agree with that. Like, I think I prefer books. I like a meet cute where it's actually a meet cute and it's their first time
Mhm.
meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, they kissed way too soon. That's also something that bugs me in books.
Yeah, it was, like, their first night even just, like, hanging out, like, they
Yeah.
weren't even dating or anything. It felt like they hung out with each other. They meet each other in that night. They go on a date. They go on a second date, and then, like, the next 2 times they were having sex, and then he's saying he loves her, but I'm like, feel like I'm missing something. How many times have you guys hung out with each other? You know what I mean?
Are you saying you think people shouldn't have sex on the second date, or you think
No, I'm
they had
saying
sex too soon for the pacing of the romance of the
the
book?
pacing of the romance, but more so the fact that they were saying "I love you" after 2 dates. And then they were like, "You oh, it's been 2 months," and they're getting, like, engaged. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert. Like, it wasn't even it it was just all of it combined.
No, yeah, I like a book where you're dying for them to kiss, like, middle to end of the book. Slow burn, if you will. Also, okay, I have 2 other things I wanna bring up, and then I think I'm more or less done with my thoughts on this book. Well, then I'll give you my overall thoughts. Number 1, I I was not interested in the wedding planning business or necessarily the photography stuff. Like, there were great long lengthy explanations of her, like, setting up these photo shoots and doing these photo shoots for, like, random NPCs in the book, and also there was, like, a lot of time spent on their wedding business in general, and I found that to be a little bit boring.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And there's other books that we read that, like, their professions, like, again, like Emily Henry's, their professions are, like, a big part of the story, but something about it is just different. I was thinking this too, though, and I was like, "I'll give Nora Roberts credit for this." This feels like the start how old is this book, by the way?
It came out in
2000.
2009.
Okay. So that was almost 20 years ago still. So
Mhm.
it does feel like the start of the books I love. Like we were
Mhm.
just talking, like, I love books where they're yeah, like, it talks about some of their personal problems too, you know, and their
Mhm.
career, and there's other friendships, there's other girls in the book, it's not just this love story, you know? Like,
Right.
it's got all of these elements that I really do like in my contemporary romance books, and I don't know, like, all the books that came before her, you know, but, like, I can see her, like, paving the way for this, you know, and
Right.
how those progression like, just over time got better, you know? So, even though I was a little bit, I'll say, like, bored, you know, like, "Oh, like, I don't connect super well with these characters," it's got all, like, the bones that I really love in a book.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, I wouldn't be opposed to reading another book of hers just because you know, it's the first in the series. I'm curious about some of the other ones. I'm actually more curious to read one of her suspense romance though,
Yeah.
but I am also wondering if in this series, like these character types can only be done once, I'm assuming, right? So
Mhm.
I'm wondering if like in those second books I might just connect or second books in those other books, I might like, connect with those characters or their personal stories more than I did with this one. Like, I'm not writing off the idea of reading more of her books because I do think it has potential. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't my favorite like you said, it wasn't my favorite meet cute, you know, like, we didn't really get to see a true meet cute. Wasn't my favorite tropes, it wasn't really my favorite kind of characters, but given that there's 3 other stories that clearly need to have different storylines and characters.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I might enjoy some of those other ones more.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way of putting it. Like, definitely had the bones of romance stories that we really like the female friendships and the, like, familial relationships and, like, all the issues there and stuff. Like, with her mom, she had a lot of mommy issues. I don't know if I think we did mention that.
Yeah.
There were just, like, certain things that didn't quite work for me, and I think that like, I was pondering before I read this book. I was like, "Wow, she's written so many books. She's, like, a really famous author. How come none of her books have been, like, adapted into movies that we've, like, seen in theaters?" And some of her books have been adapted, but they've been adapted into, like, Lifetime movies. And now that I've read one, I, like, kind of get why it's, like,
Mhm.
Lifetime movie level, because I think the best example, the most Lifetimey/Hallmarky slash Hallmarky moment to me was when Carter's ex-girlfriend sees Mackenzie at the store, and then she decides to, like, show up to Carter's house and try to seduce him and like get him back.
Yeah.
It just felt like so corny and silly.
Even in her dialogue, she's like, "Men are like shoes.
Yeah.
You keep in your closet and you try them on, and when they no longer suit you, you throw it out." And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like some of the characters felt very like one-dimensional stereotype. This is the airheaded ex, and this
Yeah.
is the overdramatic mother who
Yes, the
needs
mom
to
is
be in a
another good
relationship. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
The mom was also like, which again, like most romance book, it's actually a funny pattern. I wonder how this happened, but like pretty much every romance book, some of the conflict is the main character having issues with their parents. And I think that's interesting and we should discuss that
Yeah,
more at some point. But anyway,
that is common.
but this particular instance, yeah, the mom was like so over the top. And I mean, it worked. Like, I was so annoyed. Like, my blood pressure would go up every time she showed up.
Yeah,
But
roll eyes.
yeah, but it also, it was like kind of ridiculous and then also felt like a weird, it didn't feel like a good enough reason to me for her to like have commitment issues with Carter. Well,
Mhm.
like, I get that, like, her parents didn't have good, healthy romantic relationships, so that made that's, like, where her commitment issues came from, but, like, it still just wasn't really working for me, like, the conflict
Yeah,
didn't seem I'm not doing a good job articulating this. Like, I didn't get it, because Carter was being,
yeah,
like, so perfect, and her mom, yes, was a nuisance, but she didn't seem like anything more than a nuisance. So I didn't really get
yeah.
why she couldn't just be, like, with Carter.
Yeah, also, like, this is kind of unrelated, but when we were talking about the mom, it made me remember, like, towards the beginning, she just, like, calls Mackenzie and demands that she pays her $3,000, and then later asks for an additional 2,000. And at first I was like, did money feel different back then? That's a lot of money. But then I realized, no, that would have been even more money back then. People were
Yeah.
making like $8 an hour, you know? And so I was like, why is, and rent was cheaper, you know? So like that $1,000 would have felt like a lot of money. It feels like a lot of money
Yeah.
now. And I'm like, there's no way ever that somebody just could call me up and demand 5 grand from me. And she gave it to her. I mean, she gave her
I know.
3,000. But I'm like, "That's insane." And yeah, we have read a lot. Like, funny story, Daphne's dad is like this. Just for
Mhm.
the summer, what's her face's mom is just
Yeah.
like this. Like, it's not like a unique character or idea, but something about this felt more like this is a character
Yeah.
and not like a real person. Again, I don't know if any of these new Nora Robert fans that followed us will be listening to this or if they stumble upon it or whatever. Hopefully, like, you're still listening and you didn't, like, get offended early on. But the thing is, like, me and Issa, I've been pondering this too lately because we've watched a couple flops also. But me and Issa are very committed to, like, being truthful in our opinions because, like, we've read a lot of book reviews out there where everybody's just like, you get a 5 star, you get a 5 star, you get a 5 star. Part of why we created this was because we wanted people to be able to, um, hear our true thoughts and opinions and really get an honest perspective of things. And even though this is how we feel, it's not dissing anyone else's and thoughts or feelings about it. And I just think that it goes to show that you can trust us in whatever we share in future episodes. Like, if we're like, we love this, you know that we really love this and we really want you to read it or we really want you to watch it or whatever.
Sydney Sydney's always worried that we're gonna piss everybody off. Sydney, we're allowed to have an opinion.
We just had so many like positive Nora Robert fans find your video that I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope that they're not like, oh, I wanted you to love it. But
Well, that's
I'm
the thing,
not,
like, I didn't even dislike it. I just didn't
yeah.
I gave it 3 stars, which is,
Hmm.
like, that means, I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't, like, love it. the writing was good, like, and I think you said this at the beginning, like, it wasn't super cringy, which that is a big deal to me in, like, a romance book.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't think it was cringy. I thought the writing was fine. It was kind of slow at parts, but like overall, I enjoyed listening to it. And I agree. Like, I actually do think I'll listen to another Nora Roberts book. I want to try one of her suspense romance books. I also wonder too if like maybe we're just not quite the target demographic.
Yeah.
I think, and see, I just was teasing you about being worried about offending people, but like, I hope this doesn't offend anyone. I could tell it was written by an older woman. I think,
Mhm.
I think that was a glaring like difference in this book compared to most of the other books we read. Like, the characters were supposed to be about our age. Like, I think, well, we're not 30 yet, but I think they were like
Not
30
yet.
years old. But they said stuff that I was like, but it was also hard because the book came out in 2009. So I was like trying to put myself back in 2009 when I was 11. How old was I? 11. So also I mean, I'm only 11, but I'm like, is this really how a 30-year-old would talk in 2009, or is this like how Nora Roberts talks as like an older woman?
Yeah. No,
Cuz
I
she's
actually wrote that.
75, so she was like 60 when this book came out? 59?
Oh, that's even older than I mean, that that makes sense when you think about her age, but I guess I didn't even picture her being, like, that old.
She was
But,
58.
yeah. And even, like, a 58-year-old today wouldn't even speak like this. Maybe like a 58-year-old in 2009 would speak. Like, my mom is 50, I don't know, 54. 54. No, 53, I don't know. Anyways, but, like, she doesn't even talk like this. I'll just, like, rapid fire some of the funny phrases, okay?
Okay, I'm glad you wrote them down.
First, I texted Issa this. I was like, "Did she just say this? Are you okay?"
But yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, she said that she could use her free time to fat ass in front of the TV and gorge on food. I was like, "Oh, wow." I even rewinded it. I was like, "Did I hear that correctly?" I don't think you can say that in today's books. Yeah, you might get canceled for that. She also, like, they were trying to, like, plan a good time, go out and have some fun, and she said that they can go out and have a night of whoring.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
one shook me. Yeah.
"Interesting." She said, "We could go break some hearts and balls." And I was like, "Oh, okay, girls." Carter, said something about, like, wanting to feel these lovely breasts, which just, like,
Oh.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you're a nerd." No, it was, like, almost a little too wholesome.
Yeah.
She said, like, they're, like, in the middle of having sex, and she's like, "Carter, you make me weak." And he's like, "I love your eyes." And something about that just, like, really made me, like, laugh. He also said something about wanting to lap her up like ice cream, and that was just kinda gross, actually.
I remember that. Yeah, that I didn't like that either.
So those are the ones that I wrote down that there were more that he said, but at that point, I was like, I'd already become accustomed to this book. Those were all kinda more towards the beginning. But, yeah, there were definitely things like, "Cut my breasts," that I was like, no one I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say nobody says that, but
Yeah, no, I
puppy.
agree. Doggy wanted to come see me, so I let her in.
That's all though.
Okay, well, if we decide to read another one, we should listen to the same one again.
Oh, yeah, and when you just said listen, I feel like I need to make this footnote too. We listened to the audiobook. The narrator was not very good. That
Yeah,
does sometimes impact how I feel about a story. And
but
I don't know if I would have felt different reading it, the words on pages versus hearing it, but
I do try to like take that into consideration though. I feel like I've listened now she's trying to escape. I feel like I've listened to so many audiobooks that I've gotten better at like separating my opinion on the narrator from my opinion on the book.
mhm.
I don't think the audio quality was really good because I remember
No.
like randomly in like chapter 9 it, like, snapped into, like, higher quality for, like, a chapter or 2. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it kinda sounded, like, slightly noisy. Like, it's not, like,
Yeah.
static, but kinda fuzzy,
Yeah.
and I listened to, like, the excerpt of the next book, and it's a different audio, and even the quality sorry, there it's a different narrator, and even the quality sounded different, and so it might be like a book by book kind of thing, but I will
Yeah.
say that, like, even audio narration, I feel like has shifted a lot in the past 20 years because I go back and wanna, like, listen to some of my favorite books from when I was a teenager, but those audiobooks were recorded way back then too, you know? Way back then
Yeah,
when I
no,
was
I
a
know what you're talking
teenager.
about.
Um
Back in the olden days.
And they don't sound like the way people narrate was kinda different, because they're teen books, sometimes they sound like, "I'm an airheaded teenager," you know, like,
Yeah.
the quality is different, and so, I don't think this probably hasn't been re-recorded since then, you know?
No, that's actually a good
So,
point. She's trying to
yeah.
decide if she should jump off.
But we'll
Oh,
try
she's
another
not
one.
brave
I
enough.
think I'm gonna read what's it called? The Witness? Was that the other one people were
That's
recommending?
yeah, that's the one I was thinking about trying.
Okay. Let's listen to that one.
Okay.
And, if we really feel like we have something to say, maybe we can do, like, a bonus episode. I don't know if I wanna do, like, a
Yeah.
whole 'nother, Nora Roberts podcast episode, but
We should try to just listen to it before our next bonus episode when we talk about the night we
oh,
met, and we
yeah.
can just throw it in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So don't worry, if you're a big Nora Roberts fans, we're not turned off. A 3, we always say this when we rate something a 3, we're like, "It's not that bad. It's really not that
Yeah.
bad."
A 3 is like an
Um,
average rating for us.
yeah, so I'm gonna read more, and, yeah. Do you want to rate, like, the kisses and chemistry and all that? Rapid fire?
Well, I gave the book a 3 overall. That's what you gave it?
Mhm.
The kiss, the first kiss I only gave a 2 because I think it happened too soon in the book. Chemistry, I think I'd also give a 3. It was just pretty average to me. Longevity of the couple, yeah, that question we're always like, yeah, sure."
Yeah, I guess well, yeah, and it makes me think, like, maybe we should be thinking more creatively and, like, having that be a bigger bigger part of the conversation. Because I think we included it initially because some people make, like, whole TikTok series over, like, these couples and their relationship
Like, where
dynamics and
they
if
go
they would
next,
last.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, we never really think about it all that deeply, and so by the time it comes, we're like, "Yeah, sure."
Okay, next time for the night we met, I'll think about it. I'll think, where will they be in
Like, do
5
they
to 10
really have what it
years?
takes? I guess,
Yeah.
like, yeah, all my ratings are the same. You know what though? Like, this man loves her. So I really do think
Yeah.
it's already been like if they're 30, 12 years since high school and he's still down bad for her, yeah,
No, that's a good point.
they can last. So, yeah.
Overall, it was enjoyable. It kept me entertained while I was working.
Yeah. I mean, there's books that I'm like, I don't even want to go back and like finish or listen to.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, so
I think if we're going through the books we've done for the podcast, I think I liked it better than The Night and the Moth.
interesting. Well, I never finished that one. So
Exactly.
yeah. So we did Beach Read no, we did People We Meet on Vacation,
The Night and the
The Night
Moth.
and the Moth,
Are we forgetting one?
Say
Oh,
Yes to
Say
the
Yes to the Marquess.
Marquess. That one's still my favorite. Oh, no, People We Meet on Vacation. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, People We Meet on Vacation.
Okay. Well, you guys, I'll see you. I'll see you. We'll see you. This is actually
I'm
all
not
about
coming next
me.
time.
No, we'll see you on Friday for Warm Bodies. I'm excited. Since I've already started the movie, I'm already like, I can't wait to talk about this with Sydney. We'll share some more thoughts on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We'll talk about the 13 Going on 30 reboot. And we'll talk about Warm Bodies.
And we did post our full lineup for the month.
Oh,
So we're
yes.
doing Warm Bodies. The next Friday, we're doing Love Story. There's 9 episodes, so you have plenty of time now. You can watch one per day and be ready. Then we're doing You, Me, and Tuscany. That one
Oh,
comes
yes.
out in theaters on April 10th. That stars Simon from Bridgerton
Mm-hmm.
and Ariel from The Little Mermaid. No, I think her name is
Hallie, I think.
Halle Berry. No, it was
Halle
something. No,
Bailey.
yeah, I always got it mixed up with Halle Berry, but it's Halle Bailey. Different actresses. But yeah, so that's coming out April 10th. That's a brand new rom-com. It looks really cute and fun. So get your tickets now. And then we're watching Some Kind of Wonderful. And so when you look like I'm giving this information because I'm like, well, at least if we make fun of warm bodies, like apparently the only person who really, really, really loves it is Abby Jimenez.
Yeah.
So we're safe, but I was giving that context so you can see that we actually have some movies and shows that we're really interested in and like really want to talk about. Like Yumi and Tuscany, I'm really excited for. Love Story, I just think will be like a really interesting one to discuss. And Some Kind of Wonderful is one of my favorite romance movies ever. I'm kind of scared to see what Issa will say about it because
Yeah, I've never
it's
seen
the
it.
80s and everything from the 80s is either a hit or miss. But yeah, we are going to be talking about a lot of things that we loved this month too. So we're not just haters.
Yeah. Also, I mean, obviously we haven't seen it yet, but like if you can, you should go see Yumi and Tuscany because it's an original romance that
Mhm.
is getting a theatrical release. So if you want more romance movies, more original, not to jump ahead, but the 13 going on 30 situation, I have thoughts
Yeah.
on that. If you want original love stories in the theaters and diverse ones, this is a black love story. Go see Yumi in Tuscany.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And if you like can't afford going to the movie theaters, go on like whatever your theater's cheap day is. They almost all do them. And because this comes out on like a Friday, then the following Monday or Tuesday or whatever day your theater does should only be like $5 or whatever. So, even if you need to wait a few days, like it really it actually means so much to us that you show up in the theaters and like keep these movies coming. So, like if you want me to Venmo you $5, I can do that. No, but yeah, I'm really excited for that one. So
Yeah.
we've got a fun lineup coming for the month. So make sure you follow us. And stay tuned.
Yes, and please give us a rating if you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for listening to our bonus episode. Okay, we'll see you guys on Friday. Bye.
Bye.